Well, there's been a lot of twists and turns in Nigeria-Ghana relations in the space of just a few months. But where are we right now? I mean, we're talking about two neighbors, two major players in ECOWAS. Yes, there might be that back and forth about which jollof is better, but one thing is clear, that we need to look into the relations and what the issues are and how we can resolve them. And this morning we have joining us on the program someone who knows well about how far we have come, where we are right now, and maybe how we can get to where we desire to get to. Isaac Ekhator is the General Secretary, All Nigerian Community, ANC, in Ghana. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on Sunrise Daily. Well, like I said earlier, there's been a lot of twists and turns. The latest is Nigerian traders in Ghana asking to be evacuated back to the country. Is that still a demand they are making? And what's the update on that? Okay, we'll try to get him back. I think he had some issues trying to adjust the orientation of his device, but we'll definitely get in touch with him just to have an understanding. Oh, he's back right now. If you got my question about where we are right now, especially with Nigerian traders who are asking to be evacuated back into the country, are they still asking for that? And what's the updates regarding that generally? Mr. Ekhator, can you hear me? Okay, I doubt if you can hear me. Okay, we'll keep trying to reconnect. Well, he's in Accra, Ghana this morning, just to give us a sense of what's happening there. But a lot of things have happened, really. You recall the issue with Nigeria's building in Ghana, and a couple of other things have come up. But the question is, I mean, we've had interactions between Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Ministry, Ghana's Foreign Affairs Ministry. We've had interactions between the presidents. And don't forget, Ghana is inching towards an election. But that aside, there's been a lot of interactions. And you'd expect that at least some good will have come out of this. But having the traders saying, well, things have not quite changed, we want to come back, you wonder how important have these interactions been in resolving the matter?
Well, you and I know that the answers, we hope we'll be able to get some, after this conversation. We're also hoping that the chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission will also join us this morning to shed some light. High-ranking officials of Nigeria have been there, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, have all spoken, and then we've gotten to this point. So on the one hand, some people are saying they want to come back home, and Nigeria is also considering, okay, maybe that's the right way to go. On the other hand, there are some diplomats in Nigeria who are also saying, no, we haven't quite explored all diplomatic options. The question that you want to ask is, what other diplomatic options are there that we have not explored? One of the things that's disturbing is the fact that there are conventions, there are protocols, there are agreements that both countries in particular have signed. The ECOWAS protocol on free movement is there. One in particular that a number of people are wondering what is happening about that one. Back in time, I remember my aunt, my dad's elder sister was in the business of making black soap. In the 80s, man, there is a way. Once they load up at about 5:30 a.m., any day they load up, it's straight to Ghana. Back then, something in the region of 80s and all of that. So there's so much to talk about all of this, and maybe Isaac can help us.
I don't know if he knows about the black soap, but Mr. Ekhator, can you hear us now?
Yes, I'm with you. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Great to have you. It was quite a job getting you on the program. But regarding what's happening right now, Nigerian traders saying, well, the hostilities have not stopped. We need to come back to Nigeria. Has anything changed in the space of these few days? Are they still making their demands? What are you hearing from the government? Please bring us up to speed.
Yeah, thank you very much. This problem has been a serious issue for the past few days. Most of the Nigerian businesses that have been affected, they be crying for the government in Nigeria to see how they could be repatriated back home because the situation is quite dire. Some of the traders are losing their lives. The shops are still closed at the moment. And we believe that the government of Nigeria and that of Ghana are currently talking, but we've not seen any fruit on the ground at the moment. So we still believe that more work needs to be done in this front to ensure that our people have the needed respite and the succor that is needed to continue with their life and livelihood.
To the best of your knowledge, what efforts are you aware of? We know, we have heard that the presidents have spoken, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has intervened, the Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives has, and there is that talk about an effort at some parliamentary resolution to this, from one parliament to another between both countries. How far-reaching do you see those talks in all of these conversations that have gone on so far?
Yes, thank you. Looking at the current political climate here in Ghana, it's an election year, and Ghana is going to the poll in the next 3 weeks from now. So the government of Ghana at the moment, may not want to budge, and because they may lose a popular vote from the traders and from their people. So though conversation is currently ongoing, we understand the government of Nigeria is currently, having that negotiation with that of Ghana. But at the moment, we are not actually upbeat that any meaningful resolution could be reached within a short period of time. We believe that maybe after the election, something could come up. But judging from what is on ground at the moment, we don't think the government of Ghana might want to, dissatisfy their people because you know how politics is here. So we are still believing that maybe after January 7th, after December 7th, which is the day of Ghana election, maybe we might begin to see some movement in that front.
We've since been joined by the Chairman, CEO, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa. She joins us via Zoom also. A couple of issues we need to raise, especially because Mr. Ekhator says, well, ever since those meetings and interactions at the government level, the president, the vice president, the speaker, and in fact, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, nothing has really changed. We'd like to find out what exactly is the situation on the side of the government. But we'll go on a quick break now, and when we return, we'll take on these issues. Please stay with us. Exploring Nigeria-Ghana relations on the program this morning, and we have joining us the Chairman CEO of NICOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa. Well, I was asking you earlier we've had different interactions at government level, but for a Nigerian living in Ghana, Mr. Ekhator, he says that things have not quite changed for the traders especially. So, with all that work that has been going on, why does it still seem as though the situation still persists?
Yes, unfortunately, nothing has changed. I recall that even the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajàbíàmílà, went to Ghana, and he was assured by his colleagues that everything will be resolved. Unfortunately, nothing has happened. And also involved there, which you didn't say, not just the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ministers of Interior, as well as Trade and Investment, have also been involved with their counterparts in Ghana. Now, what has happened is the delegation actually are in Nigeria to tell the government that they want to return. And 753 have actually signed a document that says they want to be evacuated back to Nigeria. So with this request from them, what is going on now is that the three ministers involved will be having some engagements with them to see what actually should be the next step. Now, you've said you want to come to your country. So there should be no problem about that. They are Nigerians, and we're proud of them, and we're glad to return them home. But they must return to something meaningful. Like one of them said to me when they came to NIDCOM office, A lot of them have been there for over 25 years. So just uprooting yourselves for not committing any crime. The only crime they committed is that they're very good at their trade. They're very good at their job. So these three ministers have received the letter, the request from the Nigerian traders in Ghana. And I'm sure this week we'll hear from the three ministers involved. And of course, the president has been on the top of this particular situation, also has engaged his counterpart in Ghana several times. I want to ask the traders that, as your guest there said, elections are coming. You know there's something political to it. Let's face it, the president of Ghana will not want to go against his own citizens. And majority of the traders, the Ghanaian traders, have said we don't want them. So after the elections, maybe he will not open, but they said then they will close again.
Mm.
So they can't be pawns in a game of chess in Ghana. So I'm sure this week, hopefully, the three ministers will be looking through the request of the Nigerians in Ghana on what next steps to take to get them back home. And like I said, it's not just that, pam, get a plane and come back. Some things have to be put in place, which is being looked into by the three ministries involved in this particular case.
Well, madam, there are those who also feel that perhaps this action of Ghana is not unconnected with the closure of Nigeria's borders. Some diplomats say that, and some other people are permutating. Well, the facts are not there, but what's your own take?
You see, they're not the same thing, actually. They're not the same thing. There's a reason why borders were closed, and that has been explained again and again, even to the ECOWAS. You can't be bringing in small arms and ammunition and all that, and Nigeria will not take action. So there are two different things, actually. We're talking of people that have been living in your country, working very, very well for years. Now, I'll ask you something. If it has to do with the borders, why didn't they send away the big industries in Ghana? We have 6 banks in Ghana. 6 Nigerian banks are in Ghana. Why didn't they tell them to leave? If you're afraid of if it's because of border closure, there's the gas pipeline going to Ghana. Why don't you cut it off? So this is targeted, and I think it boils down to this lack of trust and some kind of complex. Because you see, these Nigerian traders, sell their goods at cheaper prices. Nigerians are very industrious, so it's about this complex. The reality is that the Ghanaian traders say, well, it's difficult to compete with the Nigerian traders, and they've put in $1 million to make it almost impossible for traders to. So let's just leave the issue about border closure. It did happen because of border closure. This thing has been on for years. In New York, 3 years ago, Mr. President took it up with the Ghanaian president, and he gave an assurance that Mr. President, we're sorry about that. We will open the shops. Then they open and close again, open and close again to the whims and caprices. I'm sure you agree with me that we can't continue like that. And as the chairman of NAN said, ECOWAS really is something they should look into. But having said that, let's listen to their request. Let's have the three ministries involved come up with the best ways forward. But I'm still optimistic that these issues will be resolved. Because somebody said to me, okay, so what if they now come back that way? What next? So this is not a period where we should be fighting each other as African brothers and sisters. It's really very, very uncomfortable and actually very, very bad for particularly the West African continent. So I don't agree to the excuse of, it's because of border closure. It's been happening for years. It didn't start last year. It didn't start 2 years ago. It's been there persistently.
Okay.
They use these traders as pawns.
Okay. Well, now that we have identified, because a number of people would also agree with that it's been something that's been on for so many years. What then are the core issues, and why has it taken so long, such that it is, just as you said, Nigerians that are being used as pawns in a diplomatic row?
It's deep. It's deep, and you have to go back into history. And like I said, there's always this mistrust between both countries, which really shouldn't be there. And I think there should be more of a people-to-people engagement. Just as we're doing in South Africa, more people-to-people engagement. It's not. You see, we don't have a problem at the government level. We have the problem at the people level. The government of Ghana has willingly said, "Listen, open those shops," but their own traders say, "Well, are you serving us or serving the Nigerian?" And Mr. President's opinion is that whatever laws are in another country, you obey them. So if Ghana has refused to change the law, even after the intervention of the Speaker of the Nigerian House of Representatives, the Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, What next? So I commend our traders for saying, listen, we want to go, we're proud of where we come from. Our business may be affected. I hope you know that 3 years ago, a lady committed suicide. A Nigerian lady committed suicide. And as I speak with you, another two are on the verge of suicide, and they were actually, they're going through some kind of counseling with the message of hope that things will be better. And again, as of today, it's been over 1 year. Now they have to pay rent for their shops. They don't have the rent to pay. How can you pay rent when your shops have been closed forever? So again, like I said, the core decision now rests on these three ministries to take a final decision that will be a win for the Nigerian traders. And I believe that with their request, with their writing, penning a letter signed by 753 of them, a decision must be taken very, very fast.
But people would like to also know that what would it take to bring these 753 traders back to the country? I understand that the Minister of Interior did say, well, maybe that might not be the best decision now. But you did say that, I mean, it's their right, it's their country. If they want to come back, so be it. So just what would it take? Magnitude of resources, if you could hazard a guess, just how huge a deal will this be?
I can't hazard a guess because, like I said, the three ministries will be sitting with the traders to actually look at what it entails. And like you said, like the Minister of Interior said, even for the traders, I'm sure there's still going to be some serious psychological impact on them. They have families. This has been home to them. And they did not commit any crime except being good at what they're doing. So it's something that has to be looked into deeply. It's not something you can actually say, we can easily arrange planes tomorrow and say, come back tomorrow. But in this particular situation, that may not be it may be the emotional thing to do or the something to do out of temper or something, but it may not be the right thing to do. And we've been engaging with the Traders Association and they understand that too. So I don't want to hazard a guess, but all I know is that even when they do come back, they must be able to continue their businesses and even be perhaps more prosperous than they were in Ghana. So it's going to be a deep conversation and it's not going to be a fluke. It's not going to be something you scratch on the surface. So there has to be a deep conversation and a deep thought into this request by the Nigerian traders in Ghana.
Well, let's see if we can get some insights into the thinking of the traders. Mr. Ekhator, I mean, in your interactions with traders, do they have demands in some sense of, what they would like to come back to in Nigeria if they indeed want to come back? Do you have an idea what it is they're asking for?
Okay, thank you. Coming back to Nigeria, we involve a lot of cost. The total cost involved, the Honorable Chairman became earlier indicated, the psychological impact, the economic impact, and all that. It's not going to be easy because these are traders that have been plying their businesses for years, for decades. So because of changes, for them to just relocate back to Nigeria is going to involve a lot of conversations, going to involve a lot of things. So the traders may not want to actually come back because I believe that if a plane should be at the airport tomorrow and say, okay, traders affected, get in and let's go back to Nigeria, I don't think any trader may want to do that. Except maybe the government of Nigeria want to give that guarantee that, okay, there are enough resources to settle them, their family, their goods and all that. But I think we need to still advance discussion on how to really ameliorate the situation. I'm very glad to hear that three ministers are involved. They should engage more with the Ghanaian counterparts. Let's see what comes out of this because this issue has precedence. We can cast our mind back to 1969 issue of an alien compliant order and a retaliatory reprisal also in 1983. We led to the Ghana must go and all that. So we don't want a reoccurrence of what has happened before. So we just want a situation where these issues on the long run is nipped in the bud. So we hope and we pray that the two governments will be able to interface and come up with a workable plan. If the ECOWAS protocol is not working, will not serve the interests of our business people, then we could look for other alternatives. There could be some kind of a bilateral agreement that can give some leeway to our traders as well as the Ghanaian traders, to see how they can apply their business. Because
Yeah,
as
Mr.
things
Ekhator,
stand now,
yeah, just a moment. You said that I just wanted to get clarity. I thought you were going to stay on that for a bit, but you said the other time that if there was an airplane at the airport now, you doubt if any trader would want to go to the airport to return to Nigeria. But you also heard the chairman of NIDCOM say that more than 700 people have signed a document that they want to be repatriated home. What do you make of that?
yes, 753 businessmen and women have signed to be repatriated home. I believe these are just way to put pressure on both government to see how serious they are, how the seriousness of the issue. So because it is not easy as we speak, these businesses, the goods, are currently locked up in their offices, in their shops. So how do we, look at that? Will they just wake up the next morning and enter the plane and go back home with nothing? No, I think there have to be some conversation. How those goods could be removed, how maybe some of the debts that are currently being incurred in terms of their rental and all that can be settled, and other issues that need to come up. So I don't think if any plane should be at the airport right now, I say, let's go home. I don't think anybody will want to go home because some of these traders are married to Ghanaian. You see, so we have other issues involved. So they already have they see Ghana as their second home. So it will not be easy. So there are a lot of there will be psychological impact, economic impact, social impact, and all that. So I think we need to really continue with the conversation.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, talking about the conversation, in your opinion, from all the explanation that's been given that by the chairman of NIDCOM, are you satisfied, or what's the reaction of Nigerian traders or Nigerian businessmen in Ghana about the effort government has made so far? How far-reaching do you think it is, and if there are any other things that you think government should do that they have not done?
Yes, we want to commend the efforts of our government back home. And also want to commend the efforts of the Nigerian High Commission, because I also understand that they are also giving some little palliative and help to some of these affected businessmen and women. I really commend their effort. But I think more needs to be done. We need to explore all options. I think diplomacy, if diplomacy is not working in foreign relation, I think maybe reciprocity, though we may not, I'm not at the moment calling for reciprocity, but I think we still need to exhaust, diplomatic options. The ministers or the ministries still have a lot of work to do. They need to interface with their Ghanaian counterpart. And as I indicated earlier, there are elements of politics in this whole thing. So I want to believe that after the political, after the election in Ghana, so I think some of these things with the heat and will douse down, and I believe that some results can be seen.
Well, you have also said the other time that it dates back, you referenced back into the 60s, into the 80s and all of that. How far-reaching post-election resolution would be, one waits to see. But let me get back to the chairman of NIDCOM, Ms. Abike Dabiri. Now, so many issues are involved here, given that the ECOWAS protocol is still there standing, and you have referenced the fact that ECOWAS needs to intervene. How far that has gone or is going, we're yet to see. And then we have ratified AFTA for takeoff. We're having a regional issue with one of our member nations in ECOWAS, and then we are signing AFTA. So all of that is still going on there. But then some other people have wondered, wait, is there anything Nigeria can do by way of reciprocity in all of this matter, just to make a statement?
Well, in terms of reciprocity, that decision can only be taken by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Enyama. And in taking that decision, I'm sure he put a lot of things into consideration. So it's an option on the table. It's an option that only the Minister of Foreign Affairs can take a decision on. So I cannot preempt that on this program and say yes or no. But it's an option on the table for the Minister of Foreign Affairs to take a decision on. However, uh, going by what my brother in Ghana said, well, indeed, maybe if you did send a plane, it's difficult. But it's not, like I said, it's not about just sending the plane, it's about what happens to their businesses, what happens to their families, what happens to goods that have been locked up, what happens to the monies that they have lost for over 1 year. All these things have to put into consideration. But those here are still insisting. I just spoke to some of them yesterday. I said, listen, you don't know what will fail. We want to come back. And the ministers that they have engaged, particularly interior and trade and investment, have said, listen, let's just stay calm. Let's be on top of this matter. Because there will be psychological effects, there will be economic consequences. And also, like you said, the Nigerian High Commission in Ghana has been reaching out to them to support in small ways. But we're also working on supporting in bigger ways. Even the big companies in Ghana, the big banks in Ghana, the big industries in Ghana, we're reaching out to them to support these traders that have been at the receiving end when when some Ghanaians get angry. So it's not just government alone. We've been reaching out to Nigerians in Ghana, the big ones, the big business. There are 6 banks there. Do something to help your Nigerian brothers and sisters how this is being resolved. Another option on the table is having Association of Ghana Nigeria Citizens Associations. You see, all these things boil down to conversation. What are we doing wrong that you don't like? What is it that irritates you about us? What are you doing wrong that we don't like? What is it that irritates us about you? We can always still come to the table and solve these matters, but at the same time, let's realize that these guys are suffering. Their families are suffering. Their businesses are suffering. A woman has killed herself because she had no hope of tomorrow. So it's a very deep conversation. It's a very deep problem that we just remain optimistic that all will be resolved. But in the meantime, something should be done to help the Ghanaian traders. Something is already being done, maybe a little more because we have thought this would be resolved. And then, like I said, beyond the normal regular diplomacy, more of those citizens' diplomacy between one another, Nigeria, Ghana citizens themselves. COVID delayed that, but it's something that we're going to ensure we engage on after COVID must have allowed us to move around a bit more.
But regarding the principle of reciprocity, I mean, it's something that it is explored in social psychology and diplomacy. So in this case, really, because we can't keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. For a lot of people, they're wondering, what more can we do? Can we do something more just to maybe lean on the Ghanaian government to, I mean, speak more with their people to ensure that Nigerian traders are treated better? So regarding that principle, what are the possibilities, really?
Well, one thing as sure as the sun will shine, nothing will happen before the elections. It's a political thing. Nothing will happen before the elections. The Ghanaian president will not compromise, even his opponent. They will not compromise the chance of winning by satisfying citizens of another country over their own citizens. And let's face it, the Ghanaian traders feel strongly about this. But for the patience of Nigerians, there would have been a lot of violence. But we kept telling our people, listen, you're in their country, you can't afford to take laws into your hands. And I remember that sometime back when South Africa returned Nigerians, when they landed in South Africa, they just didn't allow them to come down. They returned them to Nigeria. Immediately, Nigeria returned their own citizens who came to Lagos. And that worked. And since that time, that never happened. And then when they were charging 100,000 naira for visas, Nigeria did the same thing, and then they stopped. So reciprocity is on the table. What I'm saying is that it's only the Minister of Foreign Affairs that can take that decision, and he must know what is on his table, what conversation he's having with his counterparts and other issues. So I'm saying that it's not a realm I can talk into, but it's an option on the table.
Right.
But
I mean, when you speak
it
about
will
the
be out.
election, when you speak about the elections, I mean, elections is in how many weeks? 3 weeks, and then of course the counting.
September.
We don't know what might come out of that election, but we're looking at maybe 1, 2, 3 months before elections, the aftermath is all resolved. So what will be done in the space of those 3 months, or 1 to 3 months? What are the
What
options
should
on
be
the
done?
table? Yeah.
Like I said, I also don't want to preempt the three ministers that are working on this, but one of the options is we need to support these 753 traders that have gone through a whole lot of uh, financial difficulties. And like I said, they can't even pay their rent for those shops. They can barely feed because they're not earning anything. So one of the things should be to find a way of supporting them in the meantime while issues are being resolved. I think that's an obvious thing. But like I said, away from government, the big guys in Ghana, the big business Nigerian businesses in Ghana, to reach out to these traders. There are not that many. I remember that when the issue of Wuhan started, what the president did was to actually send, they made a request just like the Ghanaians. They have an association, they sent their request, they needed some money, as at that time. I think there were over 500 students. And Mr. President approved exactly what they asked for. And it was sent to the students through the mission, and they remained ever grateful. So when the traders meet with the three ministries, they can compute. And you may not be able to even do everything, but there should be some show of compassion and some show of support by government, but not just only by government, but also the big guys, the big Nigerian guys, the big Nigerian businesses in Ghana. We need to
Now,
help them.
yeah.
It's a very pathetic.
Now, when you talk about the citizen to citizen engagement, and you have a few times mentioned the fact that we need to involve prominent Nigerians in Ghana, how is that to be done? I know that a number of them have also come out to say it is essential that this should be done, that the engagement should happen, interpersonal relations, especially because some Nigerians know some Ghanaians who can talk to themselves and all of that. How should that be addressed? Who is, or do you think there should be a clearinghouse for that kind of conversation to start, or is it something that should just happen spontaneously?
No, the conversation has started. Like I said, COVID affected a lot of things, and it's actually being done on the level of the citizens themselves, Nigerians and Ghanaians. I tell you, a lot of Ghanaians are not happy about this. They are not. So that is being done at the level. You don't have to wait for government to do that, but at their own level, it's like the kind of thing we did in South Africa. So at their level, there's conversation among the people. Like I said, interpersonal conversation will work a lot, while diplomacy is being worked on by the two ministries of foreign affairs. So I think that will work a whole lot. It's already happening, and conversations are ongoing. But what I'm saying is, let's pretend. Talk
Okay.
from now till tomorrow. Nothing will happen before December 7th. Nothing will
Okay.
happen before the elections. After the
Very,
elections,
yeah. Very quickly on the diplomacy that you mentioned, a critical thing there you mentioned earlier, which if you can expatiate within just about 2 minutes or thereabout, which is the ECOWAS protocol. You said that ECOWAS should be playing a lead on this, but it would seem like we haven't heard anything from the ECOWAS Secretariat, being that the two major players in ECOWAS are the ones at loggerheads, so to speak now, that's Nigeria and Ghana. The ECOWAS protocol is still very, very active, and it would seem like it's being flouted flagrantly. Where do we go from here?
oh, well, like you said, Ghana and Nigeria are basically the two biggest in ECOWAS. So if Ghana and Nigeria are fighting, and they're not fighting actually, there's no problem, like I said, government to government level, but there's a problem at the lower level. What I'm saying is, leave all the diplomacy. Let's face it, it's a political thing. There's even nothing ECOWAS can achieve before the elections. I'm being objective. I'm not being diplomatic here. That's the reality of the situation. Elections have to be won and lost, and then the next step will be taken. But I don't even think this is about ECOWAS. It's about people to people, that interpersonal relationship, that association of Nigeria, Ghana, Citizens Association, people to people is what will solve this problem. Otherwise, it will go on forever. There's that, and I think that, like I said, that mistrust, whether it's Ghana must go from Nigeria or Nigeria must go, that has been happening over the years. It's always there. And that little, um, like, oh, well, are you better than us? Are we better than you? And all that. It really is something that I'm sure with the more conversations we'll get it from. But
And who
really,
knows?
Say at this stage of our lives,
Right.
we want to say, okay, all Ghanaians, it's not good for the African continent. It's not even something
Right.
that we should be thinking about at this stage of our lives.
And who knows, these conversations might come up at the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit. But I would like to thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the program this
Definitely
morning.
will.
The chairman and CEO, Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa. Thank you so much for your time, as well as Mr. Isaac Ekhator, the General Secretary, All Nigerian Community ANC in Ghana. We do appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you.
Well, you already heard her say that conversation will definitely happen. So we'll just
keep
have
our
to,
eyes peeled on that.
Absolutely. Well, some responses from you on this matter. We'll take first an email from George Akpangbo who says, I'm very sad to hear the way things are for Nigerians, both in and outside Nigeria. The question the government and all those involved should be asking themselves is, how do they get to the point where nobody wants Nigerians around? Things are falling in our society, and we all need to go back to the drawing table as time is running out.
Well, I will tell you, a lot of people actually want Nigerians around. Well, we have some of these pockets of issues here and there. But believe me, Nigerians, if I could say, are a blessing to the world.
I know, I mean, America is proud.
Oh, yeah. Well, take a look at this one from Professor Inakena saying that distrust between the government and the governed is glaring now. Government at all levels are culpable for this economic disheveled policies that deliberately impoverish the citizenry. Government must fulfill its obligations to the people by enacting economic empowerment programs. I believe this concerns the fuel price hike and other economic policies of the government.
Well, a similar issue is raised by Ayode Shoronke, who says, we know that deregulation is the way to go. But deregulation is wicked when we keep a monopolistic market controlled by a few capitalists. Why is it taking so long for modular refineries to come on board? Why don't we have a policy to insist on local refining by oil exploring companies?
Well, Nei Latin also talks about these refineries, modular refineries, particularly saying one of the contributors, Mecca Olowola, shed some light on modular refineries and the findings available. But government communication is poor or non-existent in this regard.
So,
Very sad, he says.
I guess it goes back to that same issue of communication. Well, communication will help us take better decisions, so we're waiting. Nigerians are waiting. That's the show today. Thank you so much for your time and thoughts. I'm Ayo Makinde. Have a wonderful day.
And thank you for joining in this communication. I'm Kayode Kikele. Thank you for joining us.